We're back. This lecture is called Semiotics 2, Layers of Meanings in Science. This is a follow-up to Semiotics 1, Living in a World of Science. We're going to go back a little bit just to make sure those of you who may have missed part 1 that you're all up to speed. First of all, before we talk about semiotics, its main constituent element is our friend the sign. And what is a sign, pray tell? A sign is a word, an image, a sound, a gesture, or any other sensory experience. Since we're making visuals, we're going to be focusing on, of course, words and images. Now, semiotics. Semiotics is the study of signs and symbols as elements of language and communication. So when you think about semiotics, you're thinking about signs and symbols. Three main types of signs and symbols are below. On our far left is our friend, the icon. This is a literal visual representation. For example, the green drawing of the car on the white background. It looks like a car. It represents a car. It looks literally exactly like the underlying phenomenon. In the middle is a symbol. Symbols are by definition more abstract and they do not have a physical form. This symbol is a bunch of green circles interlaid on top of one another. These various different circles put together make this biohazard symbol. Biohazard doesn't have a physical form. These circles interlaid upon one another make the symbol of a biohazard symbol. And finally, on the far right is an index. It creates connections between objects and ideas. For example, we see a green umbrella. The green umbrella is not just a green umbrella, it represents wet weather. So the umbrella object represents the idea, the more complex idea of wet weather. There you go. Semiotics, the study of signs and symbols as elements of language and communication. Semiotics is really good, really important, because it helps to provide a framework for understanding the meaning of various signs. This can be broken down into two elements, denotation and connotation. First, denotation. It's my favorite because my name is Dino, of course. Different spelling for Dino, but let's just go on to the definition, won't we? A denotation is a science's most commonly accepted meaning. This is probably best defined in contrast to connotation. A connotation is the secondary associations based on an individual's personal experience. Denotation, one or very few meanings of a sign. Connotation is much more. They're broader based on an individual's personal experience. Why are denotation and connotation important? Most signs have one or few widely accepted meanings. They usually have, again, one or very few denotations. But the same sign can have many, many more associations. They can have a broad number of connotations. So at the same time, a really simple symbol, a really simple sign can have, again, one accepted meaning, way more associations. I'll give you an example to help illustrate this contrast. We talked about this a little bit last class, and again, try not to be political, but it's a great representation to illustrate this. On the far left is the Make America Great Again hat. It's a red hat with white text on it. It says Make America Great Again. It's very simple, most accepted meaning. Red hat with some text on it. Very simple, very understandable denotation. However, depending on whether you're a supporter or not of the president, you can have many more associations based on an individual's personal experience. If you're a big supporter of the president, and I'm not making political judgments, I'm just giving an illustration. The hat can represent the president who you would like if you're a supporter, maybe some of his policies on tax cuts, maybe his personality, that he's very brash and vocal. Conversely, if you're not a big fan of the president, it can represent the president who you may not like. It may represent policies that you dislike, and it may represent the president who, again, you may dislike. It doesn't really matter who you are, but the same hat, same red hat with white text, can represent multiple things to many people. The connotations can be wide and broad, and in this case, very binary. people really like this sign, or they dislike this sign. Similarly on the right. Look at it very broadly. What is it? It's a guy in a suit in an ornate room in front of a table full of food. That's just, basically what it is. The guy is obviously the president. But that's the denotation, the most commonly accepted meaning. What's the more broad connotation? What are the secondary associations? If you like the president, it can represent like his suit, power suit. It's the power of the presidency. It's this gentleman in an ornate, lavish room in the White House. Really positive, high status representations. Conversely, you can see the table with the fast food, and it can be more representative of low status symbols. Again, the same picture can represent both high and low status. The associations, based on your personal experiences, the connotations could be widely divergent. That was Semiotics 2, Layers of Meanings and Signs. Thanks for paying attention. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll see you soon for another mini lecture.